matter. And to this
at the age of 70 or 74, that is the bone of contention in the Supreme Court judges giving their ruling. Willy Mutunga there giving his ruling. It's a 5-judge bench that is giving that particular ruling at the Supreme Court, consisting of Willy Mutunga, the Chief Justice, and indeed the President of the Supreme Court, Honorable Justice Jackton Ojuang, Justice Mohammed Ibrahim, Justice Smoky Nwinjala, and Lady Justice Njoki Ndungu. They have been giving that particular ruling since 5 p.m. Today in the evening. For those of you who still want to watch that particular ruling, you can watch it on KTN News, that is on DSTV channel 274, Zuku channel 14, and GoTV channel 94. So just before Willy Mutunga started giving his ruling, the other judges of the Supreme Court also gave their rulings. Smoky Nwinjala has removed himself from hearing this particular case, as well as Mohammed Ibrahim. Njoki Ndungu, however, will stay on. Let's listen in to what some of the other Supreme Court judges had to say.
The 7 judges of Kenya's first ever Supreme Court took their oath of office in August 2011 as the nation hoped that the highest court in land will bring sanity and the much needed reforms in the country's judicial system. The main objective of the court was to interpret the constitution as well as assert the supremacy of the constitution and the sovereignty of the people of Kenya. Their first litmus test was to determine the contested 2013 presidential poll between CORD and Jubilee. And although the opposition has never agreed with the ruling of the Supreme Court, most of them have agreed that it played a big role in diffusing any post-election violence.
A good number of us do feel that justice was not done in the manner in which the petition itself was determined. But the fact that, you see, the law is an us, they say, until you amend it or repeat it or replace, with something else. In the manner in which we had put in the Constitution before was that we gave a limited period to determine the petition on the presidency, which was only 14 days. 14 days was a very short period.
Another high case that the Supreme Court has handled is the retirement age of judges, especially after the 2 judges of the Supreme Court, Deputy Chief Justice Kalpana Rawal and Justice Philip Tunoi, petitioned the court. Although the 2 judges were exempted from sitting on the bench due to conflict of interest, some lawyers still feel that the bench will not give a fair judgment since the case touches on their colleagues.
Will find itself in an awkward position because, one, you see, the members of the Supreme Court sit to hear matters concerning their colleagues, and they are at the same time the employer, strictly speaking, in legal terms. So it's an awkward position, completely awkward position.
Away from the cases that the Supreme Court has handled, the integrity of some of the judges still remain in question. First was the former Deputy Chief Justice Nancy Baraza, who was forced out of the judiciary after being accused of pinching a security guard in one of the high-end malls, ending her short stint in the corridors of justice.
The worst thing that happened to the Supreme Court itself is the loss of Nancy Baraza. The loss of Nancy Baraza as a Deputy Chief Justice. We wouldn't have had the problems we are now having. I can assure you that. For a very flimsy thing, I know she's just come out of, I think she had visited a very sick member of the family and a small incident out there, which by the way happens to every judges. The judges have had bigger issues than that.
Then came Justice Philip Tunoi, whose fate at the judiciary now hangs in the balance after being suspended for allegedly receiving 200 million shillings as a bribe from Nairobi Governor Dr. Evans Kidero. This was allegedly meant to induce Tunoi to rule in Kidero's favor in the election petition between Kidero and Ferdinand Waititu. His fate remains with the tribunal.
In terms of corruption, in terms of delivery of justice or dispensation of cases within a short period, there is a problem. So in the scale of 1 to 10, I think I would give him 6.
As the 2017 general election draws closer, focus now will be on recruiting and approving the judges that will now replace Dr. Willy Mutunga as the Chief Justice, Deputy Chief Justice Kalpana Rawal, and Justice Philip Tunoi. Chris Thairu, KTN News.